Okay, and welcome to the IU Hoops halftime report as your Indiana Hoosiers currently trail the Nebraska Cornhuskers 31-22. This is a game in which Indiana was down 18-5 at the under 12-minute timeout, 25-9 at the under 8-minute timeout. A nice little flurry there at the end by Indiana, 13-6 run. Got Indiana to within 9. Look, real quick, a few positives from the half. I thought Romeo really took his coach's advice to heart about pushing it in transition. Romeo's assertiveness got us back in the game to at least being mildly competent offensively and gave us some scoring opportunities. Huge plus. Clifton Moore off the bench, scoring 3 points, getting a couple of rebounds. And Zach McRoberts, out there doing some Zach McRoberts things with a few rebounds, getting a steal. Nice to have those positive contributions from the bench from those guys. For Clifton Moore, this is a game where the biggest deficiency on Indiana's side is energy and effort. And in a game like that where everybody's making mental mistakes and being lackadaisical, when you can just come in and provide effort and energy, you can really do something and make an impact. And to his credit, he did, and really did a nice job out there. And I hope it earns him more time in the second half because based on the play of some other guys, there certainly aren't 5 guys right now that I'd rather have on the court than Clifton Moore because he at least seems excited about playing. So you guys know me. You know that I will try to find the positives in everything. So there are your positives. I am really, really flummoxed by the way that this team looks tonight. To the point where you start to wonder, is everything okay? I get, okay, they started out a little poorly. It was 9-0 before fans have even settled into their seats, and you're like, oh, geez, okay, Nebraska came in, they made some shots, we're a little sluggish. All right, but we've been there before. Archie calls his timeout, we come out and get 5 straight points. I'm thinking, okay, we got this, we're settled in, but then they go right back on another 9-0 run. And it wasn't just Nebraska hitting crazy shots. It was that first half, the first 12 minutes featured some of the worst body language from an IU team that I've seen in a long time. Turning it over and then just lackadaisically running up the court. Defensively, just like a turnstile, just letting guys drive. No compete, no fight, no tough. To the point where if you had told me that they'd done, a 2-hour conditioning workout prior to the game, prior to tip, I might have believed it because that's how they played. And I don't understand that. I get the first couple minutes, just, for whatever reason, it takes you a little while to get going, and that's kind of how these guys are wired, but usually they turn it back around. And tonight, they really didn't. And even that run there toward the end, look, Romeo was really assertive. I'm going to give him credit, and Clifton was, and, Zach was, and so, some of the guys that were on the court were starting to do some of those things. Nebraska also missed some layups. They should be up by 15, 16, 17 points. So this was a really disappointing first half. And, it looks better, obviously, because we made that little run there toward the end. And kudos to the crowd. We score 1 bucket, and the crowd is getting ready to go. The crowd is ready to get behind this team. But they just haven't brought it tonight. And I don't know. Something just feels weird about this performance. It just feels off, and I don't know if it's the hangover from the Maryland game, if I'm reading too much into it, watching it on TV. I don't know, but that's, I don't, keys to the game. I don't know. Should we talk about zone offense? You want to talk about specifics? All we need to do is play, play hard and push the ball and, box out and be tough. There's one play, Devontae Green tried to feed it to Juwan Morgan, and Juwan Morgan doesn't really, meet the pass. It gets knocked away. He doesn't really fight for it. Nebraska's guy is diving on the ground, and Juwan's trying to bend over and pick it up. Juwan, that's on you. I haven't sensed really the energy and the fight from Juwan. His stats are all right. 5 points, 4 boards, 2 blocks, and a steal. But he doesn't really have that energy. And Romeo hasn't had it for most of the night, but he got it there toward the end at least with the ball in his hands. So, look, in some ways, this is like the reverse of the Maryland game, and we were up 8 at halftime in that game. Nebraska's up 9, battle back, so maybe we come out in the second half and drill Nebraska just like Maryland drilled us, but we got to do something because that was a really, really, really bad performance. To me, by far the worst 20 minutes. Well, okay, we got the Duke game in there, but, certainly at home, to play like this at home, that was just bad. It was bad and, and concerningly so. So, I apologize if I don't have a whole lot of specifics to give you guys, but I think you'll all agree this isn't a half where I don't think that it's a whole lot of specifics or scheme stuff. I just think one team came out ready to play and to be aggressive, and one team didn't. One team is playing flat-footed and unfocused on defense and then not really attacking on offense. And I'll tell you, we got Evan Fitzner some opportunities. Man, I wish one of those shots had gone down. He got a good look in the post. He got a good look, in the short corner. He got a good look from three. They all missed. And I kudos to him for being ready to shoot them. That's progress from before. But, man, I feel like he's just got to get one of those to get his confidence going. So, let's see how this team comes out in the second half. There's nothing that they can do in this half to excuse what happened already. Like, the way that this first half went is going to be a topic on the post-game show, even if we come out and outscore them by 40 in the second half. I mean, this is on tape. This happened. You can't do this against good Big Ten teams. And even if we come back and win, we're still playing with fire with this kind of nonsense in first halves. But hopefully we find some way to come back and win this game, because at the end of the day, the wins and losses matter, and we got to get a win. But there's some things I think that we all saw in the first half that are really concerning, just kind of from a long-term perspective. So I don't know, do you blame the players? Do you blame the coach? To me, that first half is a total system failure. It's not all on the coach. I mean, you're playing a basketball game, a Big Ten basketball game. Come out there and give some effort. You shouldn't necessarily need your coach to get you excited about playing, but it's some on the coach. Like, it's kind of on everybody. So hopefully they figure something out in the second half. We come out with a real aggressive mindset on both ends of the court and get this thing going. So, boy, really rough first half. So I'm sorry if everybody was looking for for sunshine and rainbows here, but you guys would have turned this off if I tried to give you any of that, because just wasn't much of it. So I hope we see more Clifton Moore. I hope we get the ball in Romeo's hands and he continues to attack and transition. And I hope that Juwan Morgan shows up and is the Juwan Morgan that we know and love, because that wasn't the Juwan Morgan that we saw. Same thing with Al Durham. I don't know what was going on with Al, but we need more from Al. Like, he is, he's an energy leader for this team. We need him. So, the guys, to me, like, if I were Archie, I would start Rob, Romeo, Zach, Clifton, and Juwan in the second half. That would be my starting lineup. You're not going to bench Juwan. I think those are the guys that earn time by playing the hardest and playing the most focus. Send a message. So we'll see if he does it. Anyway, I'm going to go regroup, take a few deep breaths, and let's hope that that we see something better in the second half, because that was a putrid and pathetic performance. We're better than that. We need to play better than that. It's time here in the second half. So let's go. Talk to you all on the postgame show.